Hi, it's Julie Johnson again. Good to have you back or joining us for the first time. Remember, each day is an opportunity for you to ask yourself, how am I doing right now? What do I need to do today to help self-care? Yesterday we talked about how as parents it's essential for us to look after our families by starting with ourselves. The oxygen mask principle. A crucial element of this is staying aware of our emotions and knowing just how to manage them. Now we're living in this time of COVID-19. It is completely normal to experience a sense of loss, of fear and anxiety. So don't ignore these feelings and don't feel that as a parent you need to maintain a stoical, rigid attitude so you can be a rock for your children. What happens in our families when we're not aware of our inner fears, when we don't seek out ways to process and manage our natural anxieties? They don't just go away on their own. Instead, they linger, may even grow. They'll then transmit themselves to our children, adding to the worries that they may already feel. In contrast with this, when we as parents learn to handle our worries effectively and create a deeper sense of calm, we can respond far more thoughtfully to what is going on. And we can transmit to our children that sense of centeredness that will help them to feel held and secure, which is of course what we're all trying to do as loving parents. Now, this doesn't mean that we ignore, suppress or deny the difficult feelings. Emotions such as fear and anxiety are real, so they need to be heard and responded to. They're an innate part of our makeup as human beings, an inbuilt survival messaging system that alerts us to potential dangers. So to protect ourselves and all those we love, we need to learn to give them our listening ear. We need to notice, acknowledge and accept them, turn towards them, manage them. Now they can be very insistent at times, but this is often because we're ignoring them, when all they're trying to do is warn us of possible threats. Once we learn to give them our full attention, they will have done their job. So ask yourself, what job are our fears and anxieties trying to do for us right now? What do they want us to know? Perhaps they're trying to send you a message that this virus is a risk to your well-being, that you need to take steps to protect yourself and your loved ones. Well, this message is completely true. And if you're worried about the coronavirus, then well done. Your emotional warning system is doing exactly what it's meant to do. What becomes unhelpful is if the emotion overwhelms us, stops us being able to think clearly, if it makes us panicky or irrational, if we cannot help ourselves communicating that sense of fear to our children, or if it propels us into unhelpful actions such as panic buying, obsessively consuming the news, getting caught up in conspiracy theories, or even going into denial about how serious the threat really is. So we're learning, first of all, how our ability to feel fear is actually a vital mechanism for our survival. We'll come back to this later in the recording to discuss ways to use this mechanism to benefit us and those we love. Besides our fears, we're also experiencing a profound sense of loss in ways that some of us may have never experienced before. We've lost our freedom of movement, our freedom of choice, and this has of course infected our everyday lives. When we leave our homes, why we leave our homes, where we go, how long we go out for. Some of us may have lost the meaning and purpose that we get from our work, or the physical and social connection we get from being in our work communities, seeing our friends and wider social connections. Up until now, we may not have been aware of the huge range of emotional needs that we and our children have. Now, suddenly, many of those needs are under threat. I'm thinking specifically of our needs for security, control, community and connection. Let's examine these needs more closely and understand how the current change of our lives is impacting them. First of all, that of security, which we can define as being a sense of physical and psychological safety. This virus is new and in many ways still unknown, affecting the entire world as well as our individual everyday lives. If we meet our friends, we may catch the virus or pass it on. If we touch a handrail on a bus or tap our PIN code into a bank machine, who knows what we may pick up? Everything we had assumed about the safety of how we live has been turned upside down, creating in us a sense of insecurity, a fear of the unknown. Another vital human need is that of control, a sense of choice, the knowledge that we have autonomy over our daily lives and over life in general. For many of us living in the 21st century, we've become used to having a relatively high level of choice over our lives. In the West, we value having freedom of this choice and independence in our decision making, because it allows us to design the way we live. But this is now all under threat. We're being told that we have to self-isolate. We don't know how long for. So our daily choices have been dramatically reduced. And understandably, many of us are finding this extremely challenging to handle. Another essential need is for connection. We're designed to connect, to be in community with others. Now, although your family is a community, modern day life has of course expanded the range of people we encounter closely every day, way beyond our family. So current restrictions of movement, we've lost these connections and communities. The digital world does provide access to our friends and to our wider family. And if COVID-19 was happening 30 years ago, that would definitely not be an option. But it's also a double-edged sword. Spending time with our loved ones on screens can lead to digital overload. And it's not the same as being in the physical presence of a friend, of a family member. So several of our basic fundamental human needs are currently under threat. Our need for safety, security, our need for control and community. And this can lead to our survival mechanism, creating fear and anxiety to warn us that something is wrong. So what do we do about it? Well, firstly, we can stand back and take a broader perspective. We can recognise that yes, we are in uncharted territory, but remind ourselves that throughout history, parents and families have been through all manners of personal, national and international crises, which they believed they would not survive, and yet somehow they did. They survived and they grew through adversity. We can focus on taking care of ourselves and our families, but also look outward and seek to support ourselves around others around us in our own communities, both in the physical and online world. Rather than running away from our difficult emotions, we need to turn towards them. Feelings like anxiety, powerlessness, fear and anger. I'm going to talk you through a way of doing this, which is very, very practical. But just some ideas to lay the foundations. To do this, we need to notice what we're feeling. Not to push it away, not to reject it. To experience the sensations maybe in our body. Maybe tightness, tension, a sense of discomfort. Or maybe physical or mental irritability, or both, or all of these things. Next, acknowledge what we're feeling. It's there, it's real, and though I don't like it, maybe it's trying to be helpful. Maybe if you can, not always easy, but be curious about it. I'm wondering what message this might be sending me. You might be thinking things like, I'm feeling insecure, out of control. I don't like not knowing how long this is going to last. I'm worried for myself, my children, my elderly parents. I feel overwhelmed. I can't cope with being cooped up with my partner or my children for who knows how long. Well, as we now know, if we fight, push away or ignore a difficult emotion or thought, they will merely grow. So instead, we treat it the same as a positive emotion, those emotions that we like. Sit with it for a while, let it stay, be aware of its presence. This is how we give negative feelings and difficult feelings the space to speak to us. But how do we sit with these difficult feelings when we're used to pushing them away? To try this approach, maybe right now, just pause and bring to mind a difficult emotion, feeling that you've been experiencing recently. So to begin with, stop, drop and breathe. Stop, drop and breathe. Stop means you pause for a moment, then you drop your attention to your feet, if you're standing, or into your bottom if you're sitting. Noticing the sensations, not thinking about the feet or the bottom, but noticing the sensations of these parts of your body. Maybe noticing pressure, contact on the surface, soles of the feet on the floor in your shoes. Maybe you're noticing warmth or coolness, fizzing or buzzing sensations. Connection. Your attention may wander a bit. That's okay. Just notice when this happens. Notice it in a friendly way. And then refocus your attention into the physical sensations of your body. Your feet on the floor or your bum on the chair. And after a few moments of focusing your attention, turn the focus now to your breath. Not changing your breath in any way, merely noticing the breath, maybe becoming aware of your belly rising and falling, or your chest rising and falling with every in-breath and out-breath you take. Maybe noticing the air on the tips of your nose. It might be cool as you breathe in and warm as you breathe out. Breathing in, breathing out. Following the breath in and out for a few moments. This may allow you to feel more comfortable when these difficult feelings arise. Stop, drop, and breathe. You may well already have your own ways of managing difficult feelings. If so, that's fantastic. It can be helpful, though, to have a number of different options for coping. Imagining you're stocking up an emotional toolbox to help you cope with the unexpected. So now you have some other tools to add to your toolkit. And if you go to the website, you can download a PDF of more examples of little top tips that you can use, some sound advice for managing these difficult emotions as they arise. So that's it for today. Tomorrow we'll look at how to help your children manage their feelings and worries. Remember, difficult feelings are an essential part of being human. By noticing, acknowledging, accepting them, we give ourselves the ability to manage them. Stay well and see you tomorrow.